Welcome to the West Valley Industry Spotlight webinar. Today our focus is manufacturing and we're thrilled that you joined us.
Can you guys see me or hear me?
Yes, we can see and hear you, Allison. Thank you.
Great.
Welcome. So today we are focused on manufacturing and we have a panel of experts that will share information with you that will be valuable to you as an employer or as a job seeker. So a little bit about the series. If you've been attending with us the last few months, you'll know that we've had a spotlight on different industries. Again, today is manufacturing, but a little bit about the series. So the West Valley Pipeline is the West Valley's regional workforce development strategy, and it's the only regional workforce strategy in our state. The West Valley population is 1.7 million residents, and it grows daily. And as you'll learn today, the West Valley Pipeline helps to showcase diverse and highly skilled professionals to provide training and education that will arm residents and job seekers with the skills they need to be successful and secure in-demand careers close to home. We've titled this progression of industry events, the West Valley Industry Spotlight and Virtual Job Matching Series, which works in collaboration with the 15 communities of the West Valley. A couple of housekeeping items before we start. Again, this webinar series brings together subject matter experts in industry, workforce training and education to highlight needs, opportunities, pathways, and resources for careers in target industries. Again, today is manufacturing. There is a job matching component that will connect employers and job seekers based on skills via the PipelineAZ platform. And if you're not familiar with that, we have experts on the call today to share that information with you and how you can access it. Both employers and job seekers will receive assistance with onboarding and career navigation free of charge. And the job matching component, where you're matched with open positions and employers are matched with talent, begins today through June 22nd. And again, more information is coming during this webinar. I'd like to introduce our sponsor today. ASU, Arizona State University's West Campus, is the title sponsor of this Industry Spotlight series. And the following ASU entities bring this effort to the West Valley, and that includes the ASU College of Health Solutions, ASU Edison College of Nursing and Health Innovation, ASU New College of Interdisciplinary Arts and Sciences, and the ASU Office of Government and Community Engagement. And I'd like to roll a video now. Thank you to ASU and for that video and great visuals. So I'd also like to take a moment and say thank you to the University of Phoenix for their sponsorship of today's Spotlight on Manufacturing. And now we'll move into our panels and our panelists. Today we have an esteemed group of experts here to share with you information related to this industry and also education. Our first subject matter expert is Allison Grigg. Allison is the Executive Director for the Arizona Manufacturing Council. Allison, welcome.
If you guys are going to do it. Thank you, KJ, for being behind the scenes today. As you guys know, I'm the Executive Director of the Arizona Manufacturers Council. KJ, am I controlling this or are you controlling it?
Yes, Allison, you are able to control it with the arrows here at the bottom, or I can do it for you as well.
Okay, great, thank you. Let me just make it a little bit bigger here. Okay, or this works too. Okay, hang on just this. Ooh. I'm sorry, KJ, can you open it back up again?
It's open. I'll navigate for you, Allison.
I'm just seeing it as a small tile. Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry you guys, tech troubles. Okay, about the AMC. We are the voice of Arizona's manufacturing community. The AMC is a part of the Arizona Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So we are an advocacy, a lobbying group, essentially. We were a totally separate entity in 2007. We're a different group, and then we decided to join forces with the Arizona Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So we are a group that's housed within that same group. We are the official state affiliation of the National Association of Manufacturers. So we do a lot of work with that group. We have a separate board of directors. So our chairperson right now is Mark Gaspers of the Boeing Company. We have about 30 members, well, 25, 30 on our direct core board of directors. So all the big players, Boeing, Raytheon, Honeywell, Karsten Ping. So all of the large manufacturers, and then we have some mid-sized ones too. You might be familiar with companies like Pivot, Sumco, So all across the state, we're a little light in Flagstaff, but most of the big players are part of the group. Every year we develop a lobbying agenda. We call it the business agenda. It's a big, thick book. We release that at the start of every year. So right when they kick off the legislative session, that's released. And essentially that serves as our roadmap throughout the legislative session, what priorities we're going to advocate for down at the state legislature. Okay, KJ, I'm not seeing, okay, thank you so much. These 4 principles are really our core agenda. It's a longer agenda, but I just wanted to not bore you to tears with all of our material. I just wanted to today highlight a few of our top priorities. Ensuring we have a globally competitive environment for our manufacturers, which we do in Arizona, fortunately, right now. Of course, we support a taxation system that promotes capital investment and improves our global competitiveness. We support the creation of new free trade agreements to strengthen relationships with our trading partners. Of course, we support improved employer access to skilled employees, and we support continued state investment in career and technical education. So that's just a few of our top priorities right now. Okay, a little bit about the overall manufacturing sector. I just wanted to give you guys a snapshot. These numbers do tend to lag, so you're thinking, hey, we're in 2021. Why are you showing us this old data? Well, because BLS data and OEO data does tend to lag a little bit. Manufacturing accounts for about 8.61% of our total output in the state, employing about 6% of the workforce. Total output from manufacturing was almost 30 billion in 2018, and we have about 177,000 manufacturing employees in the state. One of the stats, I did not put in those numbers, which I think is a very good one, and I don't know why I didn't put it in. The average annual compensation for a manufacturing employee is around $87,300. So our manufacturing employees are really well compensated. Okay, and this large print here for you guys to see. I'll just get in there and read off a little bit of it for you. The top 10 manufacturing sectors for job growth in 2019. We had navigational, measuring, electro, medical, and control instruments and manufacturing. Guys, basically we make parts here in Phoenix, the Metro Phoenix area. We make parts. Semiconductor parts, we make vehicle parts. That's our niche. We're making parts here in Phoenix. You guys all know that semiconductors is our next big boom here in Phoenix, or in Arizona, I should say, with TSMC, with Intel, with others. The suppliers are really, that's their niche. We're going to see suppliers moving to the valley for the next 20 years to be close to these folks. We're already seeing it, actually. We are already at the chamber and at the AMC. We've had 2 or 3 companies join recently that are here specifically. Either they have relocated here from another state and just started up new, or they're purchasing companies, existing companies, and they're repurposing their lines to make parts for these companies. So it's really an exciting time here in Arizona for us, because we're seeing these different changes in our industries, and it's really going to be cool. Okay, we can go to the next. And so how are we bouncing back? Well, it's exciting because while we did take a hit, every state took a hit. It was COVID. I mean, obviously, things were shut down for a year, you know, everything had to be shut down. Of course, manufacturers were, in a lot of cases, essential workers. You know, there were certain industries that weren't, but a lot of our workers were still there throughout the pandemic, or largely throughout. But the interesting thing is, my first bullet here, I guess my second, before the pandemic, we were on such an upward trajectory, you know, in Phoenix. We had 42 consecutive months of job growth for manufacturing jobs before the pandemic. And then if you look, March 21, manufacturing jobs increased in March 21 to 135,400 in the Phoenix area, compared to 134,800 in March 2020. I know it's not a huge increase, but we did actually add jobs throughout the pandemic in manufacturing. So that's something to be proud of in Arizona. And we've also reinvented ourselves. We reinvented ourselves as basically the electric vehicle capital of the US, we're getting darn close to it. So throughout the pandemic, we had steady job increase in manufacturing, and we've managed to recreate our branding of our identity. So if you look at, you know, we've got an electric vehicle manufacturer, Lucid. They're on track to begin their mass production later this year in Casa Grande. Nikola is building their facility in Coolidge. They're going to begin producing their electric cars and their fuel cell fuel cell semis in 2022. And then they're going to begin work on their hydrogen electric vehicles in 2023. And then Electromechanica, that's the coolest name ever. They announced plans to build their assembly facility and engineering tech center in Mesa. That company produces something called the Solo, a three-wheeled vehicle, car, motorcycle hybrid, or an electric autocycle. So I'm looking forward to seeing an electric autocycle. So here I'm just talking, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about overall advantages that we have in Arizona. This takes me back to my economic development days when I worked in, I worked for GPEC, and I also worked for the Arizona Commerce Authority. So a nice plug for the West Valley, Centra and KJ and team. An Arizona Republic analysis shows that Glendale enjoys some of the lowest commute times in the Valley of the Sun at just 26 minutes, followed by Avondale and Peoria at 29 minutes and Surprise at 34. We also have a lower cost of living than larger markets, strategic location. You guys know all this, but I just thought it was important to note some of the reasons why manufacturers are moving to Arizona and specifically to the West Valley. We do have a large pool of available talent with nearly 5 million people in the Phoenix area. We also have a lower median average wage than the US average. 37 doesn't sound like a big difference, but it can make a difference. There's states with an average age as high as 45. Maine's is 45, for example. And we also have a pretty large toolkit of tax credits and other incentives that are specifically geared towards manufacturers. And we also have one of the largest community college systems, as you guys well know, the Maricopa County Community College District. And I believe we have upwards of 200,000 students enrolled I'm sure others on the call can speak to that a little bit better than me later on. So I wanted to point out a little bit of the manufacturing growth that specifically that we've seen in the West Valley. It has been growing like crazy over the past, I don't know, 10 years, I would say, but specifically over the last 5 for sure. And over the next 25 years, more than 43% of growth in Maricopa is expected to take place west of Interstate 17. So we've already talked about Intel with their huge investment in Chandler and TSMC. We've got a few of them plotted here on the map for you guys to see. I know it's a little bit small. Just wanted to call out a few. We've got Brooklyn Bedding's manufacturing facility and corporate headquarters in Glendale. Cavco recently expanded also in Glendale. Sub-Zero, they are a member of AMC, a board member actually, that expanded in Goodyear. Anderson Corporation expanded in Goodyear, and Ferrero looks like they expanded in Goodyear as well. So lots of activity. I'm sure there's some that I didn't mention that maybe Centra and team could share with you guys later, but definitely a lot of activity in recent years. And lastly, a tool that I definitely want to talk about. I am on the board of GMFTZ, but the foreign trade zones, I feel like it deserves its own slide because it's one of our most lucrative incentives that we have in the state. It's not an incentive in and of itself, but the way we use it, it makes it an incentive, and it should be protected. At least the way that we use it should be protected. So if you guys are not familiar with a foreign trade zone, it's a government designated site where goods can flow into a site and basically can be held in this sort of an international limbo where nothing gets taxed until the goods move out of the site. So that's really important, and it creates a lot of efficiencies for the zone. So you're able to take advantage of having it in this commerce, having your goods flow into this commerce limbo, because you're able to basically process your goods using a weekly entry method, which is with the Customs and Border Patrol, and a direct to site delivery method, also with the CBP, because both of these methods save you time and money, essentially, because you're not having to process things as they arrive. You're able to basically to do it like weekly. It saves money. Also, what really is the kicker with the foreign trade zone is the fact that we reduce your personal property down to a class 6, or we change it to a class 6, which takes your assessment ratio from 18% to 5% on all of your real and personal property. So it essentially cuts your tax rate by 75% in perpetuity forever. So there's a school of thought to say that all manufacturers should be given class 6 treatment, not just foreign trade zones. So I would certainly like to see that happen. But at a minimum, we need to protect our foreign trade zones and their ability to be reclassified to class 6. So it's been such a tremendous tool for us in helping to attract new manufacturers to the state. That's all I have. I don't know if I went over on time or not, but KJ, is there, I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Allison, thank you so much. This is Christine, the moderator today. Thank you so much for your presentation. really important slides and information for the attendees to see. Manufacturing is such a strong economic driver for not only the state, but the West Valley specifically. So really appreciate all that you shared, especially around the foreign trade zone. For those of you that don't know it, there's more information online, but I agree with you, Allison, super important. So thank you so much for your presentation. And at this time, we can take a couple of questions. We have a moment if anyone would like to ask anything. I don't see anything in the chat. We'll give everybody a couple seconds here.
Hey, Christine, this is KJ. I just wanted to mention, and thank you, Allison, for all of the great information. You did touch on the average age in your demographic information, and I do just want to throw out that the median age in the West Valley is actually 35, so it's even younger here than it is in other parts of the greater Phoenix metro area.
Awesome, thank you. I don't see any other questions. Again, Allison, thank you so much. We are going to move on to our next presenter, and we're moving into our education and training pathways section of the webinar. So our first panelist and expert is Troy Galvadon from the West-MEC Center. Troy is beginning his 11th year at West-MEC. As the Central Campus Administrator, he oversees the high school student programs during the day, as well as 5 adult education courses running on campus in the morning and in the evening. He has a bachelor's degree in occupational education and a master's degree in education. And additionally, he holds an Arizona Standard Professional Principal Pre-K certificate. Troy has taught in both high school and community college levels. And Troy, we're glad you could join us. Welcome. We can't hear you for some reason. You might be on mute.
Sure, are you having trouble with your slides? Oh, we can't hear you.
Okay, there you go. Can you guys hear me now? All right, thank you. So again, my name is Troy Galvadon, Central Campus Administrator. And let me go to the next slide here. So just to kind of give a brief history of West-MEC, we are a public school district, and most of our stuff is we're trying to provide an education for our high school age. As you heard, we also do adult ed, but we are trying to provide CTE programs for our high school students. We have programs from health sciences to manufacturing to transportation, distribution, logistics. We kind of cover a wide variety of stuff. We cover there's probably about 37,000 students from 48 high schools that are enrolled in our West-MEC funded program. So we cover pretty much the whole West Valley for high school students. We also do adult education also. So some of our programs that like welding, aviation, precision, some of these programs are we have adult ed who have asked us to come out and say, hey, we'd like to take these courses too. So we started these adult programs so that we can also have our adults come in and do the same training as our high school students are doing. And right now, currently, West-MEC does about 28 different programs in our central program areas. What I want to talk about are kind of the 2 hottest programs that we have right now that for high school and for adults, we just are filling our classes up. We have for the adults and for the high school is precision machining and welding. And the 2 parts of that where I'm saying that they're the hottest is because that's the most calls I get from industry about, hey, do you have any students who are finishing? We have jobs out here. I can't find anybody to come and take these jobs. And on top of that, for welding and precision, can't find enough employees. We have our students, these classes are full every time we open them up. I would say within a week, they're always full of students. So these are kind of the two hottest programs we got that I'd like to kind of talk about. The salary entry level we've been looking at from some of the employers that I've been talking to is about 15 to 20 bucks an hour. And this is kind of based on the training that they're getting from us. So if they were to be, don't know a lot about welding, don't know a lot about precision, but they come to our classes, do the 900 hours of training, the employers are bringing them in between 15 and 20 bucks just because of that extra training that they have and the extra skill sets that they have. The next part is that we wanted to talk about is kind of partnerships. And it was kind of brought up before about, Maricopa County, the community college that has how large it is. But the two things that we like to do at West-MEC, we have two kind of partnerships we do. We love to partnership with industry. And the reason why we do industry is because these partnerships allow for our students to kind of get the most up-to-date skill sets that they need. We talk to these industry in our advisory councils. What are you guys looking for? What skill sets do you need? What equipment are you using out there? So we kind of follow that along to say, okay, if we want to keep up with industry, these are the kind of toolings, these are the kind of skill sets that we need in our schools in order to make sure that the students are getting the skill sets they need. That helps out the students. What helps out West-MEC is that allows us to see, what we need to be teaching our students. Obviously, we want to get all the different skill sets. We want to do the soft skills. We want to do all that other stuff. But that connection with industry allows us to just keep up to date with everything that's out there and what everybody's using, what they're changing to, different kinds of equipment. It just allows us to keep on top of everything out there in industry. And some of these industry people that we deal with is, I'll just call out some of the names just to let people know who we kind of partnership with. We partnership with Western Container, which is Coca-Cola. We do PepsiCo, Gatorade, Desert Services, Cardinal IG, Anderson Windows and Doors, Fairlife, Day and Zimmerman, Treehouse, Southwest Forest Products. So it's kind of a two-part with those companies. They come to us because they know that we're teaching this. We go out and reach out to them because we know that they're the professionals and the leading people out there. So it's just a great partnership that we have with our industry people out there in the West Valley. The second part of that is that we like to do the dual enrollment. And as you can see on this sheet here, this is our dual enrollment that we have for precision machining and for welding. And it's kind of a small writing there, but for precision, we go through Gateway Community College. Through the 2-year program here at the high school, the students will earn about 20 college credits that if they decide to go into college and move forward with that, they can use those dual enrollment credits to kind of speed up their college and get that degree taken care of. For welding, as you can see there, we partner up with Mesa Community College, and our students there in that 2-year program will earn about 35 college credits. So this is also a great partnership with the community colleges that just allows these students as they're coming to high school to earn college credits. So they're that much further ahead when they get to the university or they get to the community college that they can just get that degree done. If they want to go to the degree side, they can just get that done much quicker. See here. The next thing we have here, we call these career trees, and we put this together for students, we put it together for parents, and we use a lot of this for when we're recruiting. And what this does is that these career trees drives the conversations for research, career exploration, goal setting, student engagement. And whether the students are heading to college or specializing in post-secondary training, the military, this kind of equips the students with their purpose. It kind of shows them, hey, if I get into precision machining, where can I go? You know, entry-level careers, where can I go for professional careers if I want to go to college? And both of these are great, I guess, icebreakers that lets a student know, hey, if I take welding, I'm just not stuck welding, so to speak. I've got all these other career choices I can make, different career paths that I can go to. So these career tours, we've created them for every all 28 programs that we have. And it's just a great opening for students to take a look at, for parents to look at, to say, hey, this is what can happen if these students are getting this training at West-MEC. And that's all I have, KJ, if there's any questions or anything.
Thank you so much, Troy. That was a great presentation. I have a question. I don't see any questions in our chat box yet, but I do have one for you. The career trees seem to be super powerful, like you said, to see a vision for where a student could go. Are those available online, or is that something that they would take advantage of in a meeting or virtual conversation?
We're in the process of putting them online right now. Right now, we're putting them in the buildings and hanging them up around the buildings and you know, using them as people come into the building. But we're looking at getting them online so people can kind of look at those.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anybody else have questions? Let's see, I have one here. From Ashton, how do we connect with and recruit your students?
The good way to do it is they can come reach out to the campus. They can reach out to corporate. And then depending on the program, each campus has separate programs. So like if it's for welding, Central Campus at the Glendale Airport and Southwest Campus out on Verado and I-10 have welding. Precision is only done here at Central Campus at the Glendale Airport.
Troy, are you a good point of contact for employers that are on the webinar today?
Yes.
Okay, great. In case they're not sure where to go. Awesome. Ashton, great question. Anyone else? All right, we are going to move on to our next subject matter expert, Paula Livingston at Estrella Mountain Community College. She's the Dean of Instruction and Occupational Education. She's also adjunct faculty for the business program in accounting. Paula, welcome.
Thank you, Christine. Can you hear me? Perfect, thank you. And thank you to West-MEC for hosting these events that give us here in the West Valley an opportunity to talk about the exciting stuff that's happening here in the West Valley and what we're doing to help prepare our community members to enter the workforce within these fields. So we're pleased to be here to talk about advanced manufacturing. As Christine mentioned, I will be representing both Estrella Mountain Community College and Glendale Community College. The two colleges collaborate quite a bit actually to help serve the needs in the West Valley, recognizing that it might be challenging to start some of these large or expensive programs at both colleges. So I'll have contact information for both of us, but share a little bit about what each college is doing. So as you heard from Allison, advanced manufacturing is growing. It's growing quickly, and we want to make certain that we're preparing individuals to work in this dynamic field. So what do we have at the two colleges in the space of advanced manufacturing? I'm going to talk about 3 different degree pathways. We have the energy program, automated industrial technologies, and then of course engineering and engineering technologies. First of all, the energy program started as a partnership with Palo Verde Generating Station and West-MEC to help prepare maintenance technicians in the space of energy. I'll talk here in just a minute about the skills that they learn there, but this program has been a very successful program addressing the mechanical and the electrical skills, the systems that are needed within a power plant. And again, it started with Palo Verde and West-MEC, so students can complete a certificate at West-MEC while they're in high school that then will lead right into the Associate of Applied Science degree at Estrella Mountain. And we have a shared facility where we offer this program on site. So it's it's a smooth transition for students from that high school program into our program. We also serve the adult population in the energy program. and we have embedded certificates around, again, electrical and mechanical within energy. The second program is the Automated Industrial Technologies program. This is a fairly new program. It is a statewide initiative. So Estrella Mountain partnered with Mesa Community College, Pima Community College, and Central Arizona College to address specifically the needs within advanced manufacturing along the I-10 corridor. As Allison mentioned, we are strategically located and we are seeing companies move into our state because of that. And so this program was created to serve that need. This again focuses on the dynamic and evolving ecosystem of advanced manufacturing. It includes robotics and also those complex control systems that you're going to see in a lot of manufacturing facilities. It has 2 embedded certificates, so you can earn a level 1 certificate and then add on a level 2 certificate. And both of those certificates give you some of the skills that you'll need to at least get an entry-level job in a manufacturing facility. So short term, you can get into work rather quickly if you're just starting out or if you're looking to re-career. Those are great opportunities within that. That program is also aligned to industry recognized credentials. So as Troy mentioned, at Estrella and Glendale, we also work with our industry partners to have advisory boards. And they speak into our curriculum to make sure that we are teaching the skills that students need. And so they've brought up some industry recognized credentials that this program prepares students for. So while they're earning their degree, they're also earning those credentials. And then we also have an engineering and engineering technology program. The Associate in Science is emphasis on engineering, prepares students to transfer to the university and complete their 4-year degree. It's a rigorous program leading to in-demand and high-paying careers in engineering. And then the engineering technology is an Associate of Applied Science degree, and it leads to entry-level engineering technicians. And these are also in high demand. And in this program, students will learn the basic engineering principles along with the technical skills that are needed to support the tremendous amount of work in both engineering and advanced manufacturing. Additionally, we are continually looking to see what else do we need to bring on board to serve the needs of the West Valley. So we are looking at a logistics and supply chain management as well as a welding program. And then you heard Allison mention the electric vehicle. We've done some initial talks with the Arizona Commerce Authority, and we believe that that Automated Industrial Technologies program is a great program to train individuals within the electric vehicle space. So we are addressing those needs that are coming as well. So just a little bit about some of the jobs that you can get with these degrees. These are some of the titles you might see on job postings. So maintenance and equipment technician, electromechanical technician, robotics, automation, manufacturing production, and then within engineering, all of those fields, civil, mechanical, aerospace, industrial, automotive. And these are well-paying jobs. An entry-level job earns from the high 50s to the mid 60s. So these are great jobs for individuals to pursue. And a lot of times there's a career progression within that job. So it doesn't have to just stop at an entry-level job. You can go back, earn some more skills, get some more degrees, and you can advance within the company. So it's a great place to start. So a little bit about the skills that you will learn within these programs. I can get this to advance. So there, including both technical and employability skills. There's a whole list of things that we focus on: hydraulics, pneumatics, motors, programmable logic controllers, automated systems, sensors, gears, computer-aided design and engineering, basic programming, computer science. Additionally, we also embed a lot of employability skills into our programs. So teamwork, problem solving, critical thinking. You're going to get real world experiences in these programs to help prepare you for your job. And just to emphasize that, we do place a big emphasis on the hands-on experience. So here's some pictures of the labs that we share with the West-MEC. This is where you'll work on electrical trainers, mechanical trainers, you'll learn those PLCs, the sensors and all of that. So really ensuring that our students get a comprehensive experience when they go to Glendale or Estrella. Additionally, we provide career services to help students prepare for that career, whether that's a career panel that they might listen to people in industry, a job shadow, a career interview, internships, apprenticeships. We do and provide all of those services as well to ensure that students are as prepared as possible. We'll help you with your interview, we'll help you with your resume, whatever you might need to be as successful as you possibly can headed into the workforce. So just a couple of other things then that we do, because we believe firmly in project-based learning, which is providing students with real-world experiences. We do participate in the NASA Space Grant Program. This is both colleges do this, where students get a chance to design and launch these payload measuring balloons that go up into the atmosphere at high altitudes and measure the weather up there. So our students get to participate in that. We also do, can't get this to advance. We also do Engineering Your Future events, where we get students to meet with industry around engineering to learn more about jobs there. We do drone races. This is a friendly competition between Glendale and Estrella, where students they build drones and then fly them through these designated gates. At Estrella Mountain, we have the Steam Engine Makerspace, which is a dynamic learning space where creators and innovators can come and they can use equipment like 3D printers and engravers and etchers, and we have several pieces of equipment in that space. We also do the EPICS, which is engineering projects and community service. And through that program, students have been able to engage. So they learn the principles of engineering and then apply them in a community service project. And they have, in the past, they've been able to design and build 3D printed prosthetic hands, fingers, and a leg brace that helps students and children in our community. We support the rocket launch by the local Boy Scouts of America organization. And then we've held the Skilled Trades Expo, which focuses on connecting employers and job seekers. And we just held our 4th one virtually back in April. It was well attended, and it ended up actually being a statewide event. So just doing what we can to connect students with industry, with the skills that they need, and with those real world experiences to be prepared to enter the workforce. So you'll see here, in addition to that, we have strong partnerships with our universities so that those students don't have to stop at an associate's degree. They can move right on to a 4-year degree if that's the path that they would like to pursue. So strong partnerships with ASU, NAU, the University of Arizona, and then just in conversations with the University of Phoenix as well. And as previously mentioned, those connections with industry are so critical for our students to ensure that our curriculum is relevant, but also to provide that seamless pathway when we can into a job. So there's just a list of several of the organizations that we work with. It's not all inclusive, there's so many more, and that's just representative of how much growth and what we're seeing in the West Valley, the semiconductor industry, the energy industry, electric vehicle, additive manufacturing, all of those are represented there. So again, those strong partnerships and the advisory boards that I mentioned already, and the industry being able to speak into that. So that's a little bit about the programs that we have at Estrella and at Glendale Community Colleges. There's some contact information if you have any questions. I would love to answer any questions, or I know if we need to move on, but please reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you.
Paula, thank you so much. I really appreciated your presentation. A couple things I wanted to point out to our audience. Employability skills, that's coming back. So that's something that we don't always focus on in terms of team building and critical thinking and problem solving. So that was super exciting to see that being included. And then the other part of that related to the real world experiences. I don't think we talk about that enough in terms of it's not just going to class and getting the experience to take one of these roles and jobs that you've talked about or careers, but it's also really seeing how it works in the community. So appreciate your presentation. Thank you. Don't see any questions or anything in our chat box, so we are going to move on to our next subject matter expert, Professor Hitendra Chaturvedi. He is the Professor of Supply Chain Management at the W.P. Carey School of Business at ASU. Hitendra comes to us after a successful exit from a pioneering reverse logistics startup in India called Grigg, where he founded and he raised multi-million venture funds from the likes of Kleiner Perkins Caulfield and Bauer and built a lasting legacy in India. He's a computer engineer from IIT Roorkee. He started his career in 1995 working as a consultant for Ernst & Young, and it acted as a catalyst for his first startup experience through an Austin venture-funded company. Family reasons dictated a move to Seattle with Microsoft, where he worked in competitive strategy marketing and the OEM supply chain. He's also a celebrated author, and he sits on advisory committees of many startups. And he believes that his teaching philosophy is molded in big part by his zest of life and continuous learning, which is demonstrated by the fact that he's found time to fly airplanes, make wine, paint, scuba dive, skydive, ride motorcycles, and travel to 75 countries, and most importantly, spend time with his family. Hitendra, welcome.
Aha, now I'm unmuted. Thank you, Christine. So very gracious of you. I was listening to Allison, and I was listening to Paula, and then Troy. All of you stole my thunder. It's amazing. Interestingly, you look back and you see it's a perfect storm happening in the state. And I think I do have access to the presentation. Just one second. Aha, it works. So with what Troy is doing, with what Paula is doing, and Allison leading the charge on the manufacturing side of it, and everything happening around the West Campus, it is becoming a very, very interesting place over the next year or so. And coming from the ASU's perspective, we are looking at companies coming in and wanting students who have experience. The enrollment numbers for this year are going through the roof. I'm teaching 2 classes this summer, which is basic supply chain management class. And basically we had to increase our enrollment number, the class size, 3 times. So it started at 50 in each class, went to 55, then went to 60, and we have capped it at 65. So that's what, in the area of manufacturing and supply chain, and with coronavirus, this interest is just blossomed across the world. So I'm going to talk to you about, I won't talk about ASU a lot, but I want to start with a small quiz. And that quiz is, I have a few personalities on this sheet of paper. How many do you think are ASU alumni? Maybe all, maybe none, maybe a few. Any thoughts? There are 12 of them. From Barbara Barrett, she was the ambassador to Finland, to our Governor Doug Ducey, to Phil Mickelson, to Kristen Sinema, to Kate Spade, and Pat Tillman, Ryan Wood, who started Under Armour. Any thoughts? Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. You know, all of them. All of them are ASU alums, and in varied fields. It's amazing how, what a strong alumni. I want to talk about, this is where I want to talk about the alumni. With the channel coming into ASU and to Arizona educational institutes, what has happened is, it is not only, oh my God, I graduated and I don't know what to do. One, there are a lot of people coming in and wanting to hire you. And second, you have an amazing, amazing network at this moment. That network, the alumni network, is what will help students coming out of Arizona achieve great things. And this is the time to do it. So a few accolades. Why I get excited even after I exited a startup, multi-million-dollar startup. I built it up to about $400 million. I came and I became a professor. This is the 4th chapter in my life, is because of what ASU brings to the table. So one of the top 3 supply chain universities in the world. and #1 in US innovation many times now, #1 in US in global impact, best value college, and #3 in graduate level government programs. We have 5 Nobel laureates. We have 7 Pulitzer Prize winners. We have 23 National Academy of Sciences members, and 37 Guggenheim Fellows, and 251 Fulbright Scholars. I'm not saying we are the only ones, and there are amazing educational institutes in the state that are up there sharing the honors. But what this tells you is such a strong ecosystem of preparing the right people for the right industry. So I'm part of the Department of Supply Chain. I want to talk to you about that because that is, other than engineering, from the business side, that is very closely tied to manufacturing. I do teach at our West Campus, so I know I teach in our Masters in Global Logistics program. I'll talk about that in a second. But our vision for the supply chain management is to become the world's supply chain university. And Allison talking about the foreign trade zone. Different countries call it differently, but absolutely we need that. It's in some places it's called the free trade zone, in some places it's called the special economic zone, but the goal is the same. Most of the countries do that, and we need it as our competitive advantage. So ASU Supply Chain Management Department, we want to become the world's supply chain university. And our mission, I won't go through it. With that goal in mind, our entire education is built around 3 pillars. One is around the academic enterprise. The second is around the knowledge enterprise. And then the third one, and enterprise partners tie in to our knowledge and learning enterprise. So I'll basically focus on 3. And then the third one is the learning enterprise. Let me really quickly talk to you about what we are doing around those 3 blended 3 pillars of our university as well as our department. Academic enterprise is where we teach students. We have 6 programs that we bring to the table. Bachelor of Science in Supply Chain Management, over 1,000 students, and includes online too. BA in Global Logistics. We have MBA in Supply Chain, MS in Business Analytics, MS in Global Logistics, which is driven out of the West Campus, and a master's program in Supply Chain Management in partnership with MIT. So you see these 6 programs bring together all the supply chain skills and analytical skills that the state is going to need. And on the learning enterprise, this is more our partnership with industry, where we can create an online, we have created many of them, online self-paced courses. You have certificates, which are faculty taught, and a much more immersed, topic-focused, industry-focused, hands-on workshop for our corporate clients. That's our connection there. And then on the, I want to talk about a bit about program pathways. I know Paula and Troy touched on it. There is a way to enter ASU if you're not going through a regular way. One is through earned admissions, which is you take online classes towards a degree. If you're maintaining a 2.75 GPA or higher, you can enter into ASU. And the other is through transfer programs. Begin at a community college and then plan for transfer pathways. So there are ways to get into ASU even if you're part of a community college or taking online courses, which is actually very exciting. On the knowledge enterprise, which is the third pillar, is where the industry connect happens. We have many platforms, CAPS Research, Health Sector Supply Chain Research Consortium. We have a Supply Chain Executive Council in which we bring in very large companies and they give us feedback on our curriculum. They give us feedback on case studies. We work with them and we ensure that the students are prepared for what's coming. Then we have just launched something called the Small and Medium Business Alliance. I'll talk about that in a second. We have the Internet Edge Lab, Frontier Economies Logistics Lab, talking about how we can bring supply chain and cutting edge technology to frontier economies. We run capstone project with industry, which is free for the companies. It gets a grade to the students. And then we are launching something called Factory Fitness Index, in which we are going to, first time ever, compare the health of the factory across the state of Arizona and in the country. So the whole idea here is that on the SME Alliance, I want to talk about that. And I am very cognizant of time, Christine. I have 2 minutes and I will wrap it up in 10 minutes. I promise you that. The idea was that we always targeted large companies because they are the ones that have the money, but we never had a platform for the SME, small and medium enterprises. Medium enterprises are companies that are less than $1 billion, while the small companies are less than $50 million. So this is an initiative coming out of the West Campus that I'm leading along with Professor Dale Rogers, and we are creating a platform, an ecosystem where we can have the small and medium enterprises come together. And in the first meeting, these were the companies from Nikola to Ewing Irrigation to Above and Beyond Delivery to Melanco. Many of these companies showed up. Why? Because the key thing that they want is they want a platform. They want us at ASU to be able to have hiring specifically for them. And many of them are coming to us saying we need more and more people. And they are willing to give back in terms of case studies and internships and projects and hiring. So I'm extremely excited about what we are planning to do with the small and medium enterprises, particularly on the West Campus, particularly when it got to do with manufacturing. And the second one that I want to talk about, by the way, next meeting is in the fall, which will be a face-to-face meeting, again on the West Campus. And the last thing I want to talk about is a Factory Fitness Index, scrap rate, power consumption, workplace injury. How do you compare with the other competitors? How do you compare with other countries? We have Purchasing Managers Index, but nobody talked about what happens within the guts of the factory. And that becomes so crucial. That's my timer, so I have 15 seconds. That becomes so crucial to identify our strength, our manufacturing strength, our state strength when it compares to some of the other states. And so we are launching it, very excited to launch it. And again, contact information is there if you want more information. So in the end, summary, strong ASU value proposition invested in the state, along with all the business partners that we just heard about. I believe we are destined for greatness, 2021 and beyond, and I'm already started to see the offshoots of that. With that, Christine, I'm going to hand back the stage to you, and thank you very much for listening.
Professor, thank you. That was a phenomenal presentation, and really appreciated how you connected the dots in terms of the pathways from not only West-MEC but the community colleges to ASU, and how those are set up and established for students, but also how employers and industry that are our audience today, that are in our audience, can connect and be a part of something bigger that you're working on. So really appreciate your presentation. I don't see any questions in the chat, so we'll keep moving on, but know that the chat is there and we are happy to answer questions from our subject matter experts. I'd like to welcome Nathan Jones from University of Phoenix. He's the Director of Product Development, and as the Director of B2B Product Development, Nathan enables organizations to access emerging talent pipelines created through partnerships with higher education, employers, and other training providers. He has more than 18 years with the University of Phoenix, and in 2020, he brought the first degreed apprenticeship career pathway in IT in partnership with Wazoo Enterprises, creating a new talent pipeline of skilled IT professionals for employers. And this is something that happened during COVID. In the same year, he led the rapid expansion of Manpower Accelerator program offered by Manpower Staffing to provide over 2,000 people who had been displaced from their jobs due to COVID. He provided access to workshops that reskilled them for in-demand jobs. They earned college credit at no cost, and provided access to talent agents at Manpower to help them put their newly gained skills to work. So Nathan, great work and welcome. Excited to have you here.
Christine, thank you so much for that introduction. If I hadn't written it myself, I wouldn't believe it. So thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be with you all today. I have learned so much during this session and in the preparation for this. I want to thank everybody who's spoken previously. I think we all feel the same way. We share great optimism and determination to continue to go from strength to strength in the West Valley and the state as a whole. And we see at the University of Phoenix, like each of you do, that manufacturing is a growing sector within the US economy, and one that warrants special attention and effort from the collaboration of government, education, employers, trainers, and groups like this. So really am grateful for the invitation to be with you today. And I hope to share a few things that the University of Phoenix is doing in this space with employers, with training partners and others. And hopefully this may be helpful to some of you. So I'm going to try and let's see if I can actually navigate this. Look at that. There we go. So just some brief trends that I don't think these will be of surprise to anyone, and these apply across sectors. But research done last year shows that a lot of employers and employees expect core skills to be changing at the moment. We are seeing the rapid digital transformation accelerating the change in skills that are needed across every sector. Similarly, let's try this one. When a survey was conducted by Deloitte recently, over half of the workforce said they expect they're going to have to change their skills in the next 3 years. And what we know is this acceleration of the disruption in skills is occurring across all sectors, across all industries, and across all stages of the talent lifecycle, whether it's at the talent acquisition phase, that is, you're trying to find talent that's affordable, available, skilled, or whether it's you're trying to keep talent or reskill or upskill the people that you have so that they can do the things that they will need to do in 6 to 12 months time from now. So how is the University of Phoenix helping with this? And really, I'll put our cards on the table. University of Phoenix is not a technical manufacturing training institution, but we can help address some of those skill gaps through some integrated pathways that bring together multiple training partners, employer training programs, state programs, and others to create pathways for employees and organizations to access pools of talent and to create pipelines of talent to bring in external talent and to upskill internal talent. So today I thought I'd share a couple of examples of things we've been doing. These might be interesting to you, and they may shine a light on some of the capabilities that a thoughtful partnership between employers, government, and higher education can create. So the two things that we wanted to share were a contingent labor pre-hiring and upskilling solution that we've had in the market for a while, and then what we like to call apprentice to degree pathways or degreed apprenticeships. So I'll talk about this contingent labor solution first. I think Christine in my intro mentioned this, but during COVID, there were a lot of displaced workers. And so we partnered with Manpower Staffing to create rapid upskilling workshops, which took someone who was displaced and said, look, here are a bunch of positions that are in demand right now, even during COVID. Manpower used their data and their connections with employers to see which ones really made the most sense, were in the most demand. And we partnered with Manpower to identify the skills, the most critical skills to make someone day one job ready so that they could be productive immediately, and created instructor-led workshops that were delivered entirely online, but were assessed at a level where we could actually award a college credit at the completion of this workshop. So even if nothing else happened, if somebody hadn't completed their undergraduate degree, they could get a credit towards that completion. But more importantly, get these people skilled so that Manpower can then go out to their partners and hiring organizations and help them move. This was actually an iteration of an ongoing program that we help run for Manpower staffing, where any of their existing contingent labor, so if you're a temp for Manpower and you are working in one area, let's say you want to become a warehouse team lead, for example, and help contribute to our supply chain here in the US, Manpower will actually pay for them to go through a 6-week workshop to prepare to be a warehouse team lead. The University of Phoenix provides university faculty to facilitate that workshop. We award a college credit for it, and at the completion of that, Manpower now will actively attempt to go and place that individual. So I thought I'd share a couple of the different certifications that we do with them, which we find that these types of roles are typically in demand at different levels across almost all organizations. So we have accounts receivables, help desk, warehouse team lead, and also call center and contact center team leads as well. So we've been really pleased with that program, and we're able to help over 2,000 people last year go through one of these workshops and get ready to be placed in a job that's in higher demand and make a quick transition. The next concept we're pretty excited to share is this apprenticeship to degree pathway. As we know, apprenticeships in the manufacturing space are not uncommon at all. What can be a challenge, however, is that apprentices, upon completion, have done a fantastic job of learning a skill or a trade, getting into a career, which is a wonderful blessing to them in their career. However, at times, those apprentices in the long run may find themselves hitting a ceiling in their career progression, or organizations may find that they now have to reskill or upskill these individuals to move them into supervisor roles or other roles within their organization. We've developed, in partnership with some apprentice providers, some pathways that integrate the training that occurs prior to and during an apprenticeship to articulate them into degree programs to create that pathway. And I thought I would share how one of those works with one of our other Arizona partners, WAS Enterprises, which this model works in the IT space, but also has capability to happen in the manufacturing space. And then I'll share an example of something we've done in the manufacturing space as well. So with WASU, what we've done is created an integrated pathway for employers to access talent through a degreed apprenticeship pathway, where we're able to go out and source talent, conduct a pre-apprenticeship training, which is worthy of college credit. It happens online. Candidates at the completion of that training get interviewed and hired by employers as an apprentice, and they go through an apprenticeship program. The University of Phoenix has articulated both the pre-apprenticeship training and the apprenticeship training that occurs for college credit into a completer degree program. In this case, we use our Bachelor of Science in Information Technology, but we have a Bachelor of Science in Management program or other areas that can also articulate this credit, to where if somebody came into this already with a 2-year degree program, say from Maricopa Community Colleges, and then they went through this pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship program, the University of Phoenix would award an entire year of college credit for the apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship training. Meaning, in combination with a 2-year associate's degree, a student would only have 1 year of coursework left to complete in order to receive a 4-year degree. And the apprenticeship training is structured in such a way that those apprenticeships can take that final year of college credit online with the University of Phoenix concurrently with the apprenticeship training program, meaning you could complete the last 2 years of a degree program in somewhere between 15 to 18 months while on the job, while learning skills, while working. And in many cases, in fact, our aspiration is in all cases, the employer is actually paying for everything. The apprentice is being paid, and the training is being provided, and the university training is all being covered by the employer, meaning no student debt, no burden on the state or the government for funds, but that is entirely funded by the employer. We've seen this begin to have great success in the IT space, and we think that there are some opportunities in the manufacturing space as well. For example, we've been working with the Institute for American Apprenticeships, IAA, who some of you may be familiar with, is another apprenticeship provider that works in multiple sectors, but has a lot in the manufacturing space. And we're beginning to articulate their different apprenticeship pathways for credit into our Bachelor of Science in Management program. And we're exploring the ability to create similar pathways there with them. This is an example of the output of what that process creates. This is what we like to call a credit recommendation guide. We do this with employers. We do this with training providers. And if an employee works at one of these companies or has gone through one of these training providers, we publicly share this type of recommendation guide that says, look, if you've ever taken this training or if you're in this program right now, let's take all the guesswork out of it. This is exactly what you would receive at the University of Phoenix. This is how it would map into a degree program. Part of what we're trying to solve for here is there are some people who, in their careers, they love the idea of getting skilled into a new job, which is great. That happens, and in the short run, we love to imbue people with skills, get them placed in a job. And jobs like that, hiring tends to happen in the short run. But what we know is talent management planning and careers happen in the long run. Having an integrated pathway that helps people get into a job now, help employers access pools of talent today, but also have the foresight and the pathing into higher education credentials, national certifications that will allow that individual not just to get the job today, but to be certified as skilled in that job and be prepared for the next job and the next job, or more importantly, to demonstrate to their employer that they have the ability to learn and acquire new skills, which, going full circle back to the beginning of my presentation, you'll remember the ability for employers and employees to acquire new skills will be critical as the rate of change in skills accelerates in every sector. So I'm going to wrap up because I think I'm between the group and Q&A. So how do we do this? Well, it's a pretty simple process. We work with employers, we work with industry groups, we work with apprenticeship providers, we work with national certification agencies, and we look at where the skill gaps are. And we try to bring together a collaboration of the best partners, the best community colleges, the best training partners, the best apprenticeship providers. And the University of Phoenix sees its role as being able to articulate the entirety of that into a simplified pathway so that we avoid that moment where someone says, okay, I've gone down this learning path and it's gotten me to here. And if I want to go up or across in my career, I now have to go back to the start to get a higher education credential. We work to integrate those into a single pathway so that everything that someone has learned and is capable of doing is articulated within the higher education framework. So hopefully that was interesting. Hopefully there was something of value there for all of you that were looking at this. My plug for if you want to find out more, and for some reason I'm not able to progress to my last slide. Oh, here you go. If you want to find out more, we'd love to talk. You can go to the University of Phoenix's website, phoenix.edu/workforce solutions, or if that's kind of a mouthful, you can just go to phoenix.edu, and at the very top of the page, there is a workforce solutions link that will share some of the things I went through today and give you an opportunity to connect with us. So thank you so much for this opportunity. Christine, I'm going to hand it back over to you.
Great, Nathan, thank you so much. We do have a couple of questions. One, on a slide that you presented, you showed some class start dates that have already started for some of those certifications and training. Is there an opportunity for those that might be on the call that are interested to still join, or will you have more classes?
Wow, those are some eagle eyes. Yes, as I was presenting, I realized that those were from 2020. That was an old screenshot that I had taken. Yes, anyone who is a manpower associate, which means that they are on assignment with manpower staffing, is able to attend those, and we run those courses regularly throughout the year. And so that's a solution that we created for manpower staffing, and so anyone who is associated with them is able to enroll in those, and they are ongoing.
Okay, fantastic. And then another question, which isn't specific to you, Nathan, for the group, we have someone asking the best way for employers to obtain contact information for all of the SMEs who are presenting today, and are we able to obtain the slideshows? So this is being recorded, so it will be available to you shortly, and you'll have access to the information. Related to contact information for the SMEs, I know some of them have put that on their slides. If you feel comfortable, subject matter experts, dropping your contact info in the chat, feel free to do that. Otherwise, the slides that will be available to you in the recording has that information. Great question. So we are going to move on to our next presenter as we wrap up this webinar. Sternisha at Arizona at Work is a Western New York transplant. He relocated from Buffalo, New York to Phoenix, and he brings over 15 years of workforce skills and experience to Arizona at Work, having worked in the job bank division at the New York State Department of Labor and for a one-stop as a career advisor and a job developer. Currently, he's a business services representative at Arizona at Work, Maricopa County in the West Valley, and he assists employers with their hiring and workforce needs. So Chris, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. As Christine just mentioned, I'm a business service representative with Arizona at Work, Maricopa County. And today I just want to take a few minutes of your time to talk about some of the services that Arizona at Work has to offer. Let's see if I can progress here. Yay, look at that. All right. So Arizona at Work, Maricopa County, we are part of the statewide workforce development network. We provide services and resources to job seekers as they pursue employment opportunities, and we assist employers to recruit, develop, and retain the best employees for their needs. Let's go on to the next. So as we've already covered, the West Valley here is growing leaps and bounds, particularly in the manufacturing industry. These are just some of the big glossy overview points of why maybe we're expanding so much out here. And the first one you'll notice here is the workforce availability. And that's what I'd like to focus on today in the rest of my presentation. So Arizona at Work, here are some of the services that we can provide to our job seekers, starting off with just some real basic resources and services for our job seekers. Those job seekers that don't have computer access at home, or they're just simply looking for job leads. Maybe they're really not quite sure where in the manufacturing industry they want to focus their attentions on. We have career exploration tools that job seekers can use. If you just need interviewing enhancements or interviewing skills, not everybody is great at doing an interview and talking about themselves and talking about their skills. We can help with that. And then we offer trainings and services on the Arizona Career Readiness Credential and Occupational Skills Training, which I'll talk more about very shortly. So this is our Arizona Job Connection website. For those of you out there that may or may not be familiar with AJC, as we affectionately call it, it has recently gotten a facelift. So those of you who might have been familiar with the old look of Arizona Job Connection, welcome to the new look. This is our new website. It still has all the same great features, all the same great tools. It just hopefully is a little more user-friendly and aesthetically pleasing to everyone. But this is the source that employers can go to post their jobs and also search our resume database. I looked in our AJC database this morning, and we were up to about 16,500 resumes in our system. So just in the past few weeks, our job seekers are coming back to us. So this is a great tool and resource for employers to post their jobs. And then obviously, conversely, this is a great place for job seekers to look for those employers out there. So as Nathan just pointed out, our skill sets are changing and evolving, every day. But this is just a snapshot of some of the top skills that some of our manufacturing employers are looking for, such as the computer automated technologies and programming skills, and just basic traditional production skills. These are some of the top hard skills, as we call them in the industry, that our manufacturing employers are looking for. And then conversely, some of our top soft skills that may not necessarily just be primarily focused on the manufacturing industry, but can be said about all of our industries, our creative thinking skills, adaptability skills, and teamwork skills. So why do I mention that? Because Arizona at Work has the ability to provide training and upskilling for a lot of our job seekers. Occupational skills training through Arizona at Work can provide a lot of those hard skills that job seekers may be looking for some of those positions in the manufacturing industry. Going back to our Arizona Job Connection website, this is the page for our what we call our eligible training providers. So training providers and employers that are interested in providing training in certain demand occupation skills, they can enroll and provide their training information on this page, and then job seekers can go to this page to search out some of those trainings that are provided on our website. And if you excuse me one moment here, I just wrote down some basic trainings that are very popular on our system here. The CDLA truck driving training is very popular, as is our CNC machinist training and HVAC training. So those are just a few of the many, many, many trainings that job seekers can find on our website. The Arizona Career Readiness Credential, this is a great tool and resource to help not only bolster one's soft skills, but also just to get a basic gauge and understanding of where one's skill sets are. Let me see. Oh, here, let me read to you directly. The ACRC credential demonstrates skills that mastered career readiness skills that are most important to employers. And some of those skills that are trained on and are evaluated are critical thinking and problem solving skills, applied mathematics, work data and graphics, and communicating effectively, which I might be failing at this moment. But these are all skills that one can gauge and get a better grasp of through this Arizona Career Readiness Credential. Let's get you the next page. So if anybody is interested in either attending the ACRC training or looking into and getting some more information about our occupational skills training, I highly recommend everybody go to this link, maricopa.gov/find-a-job. They can fill out the information. There's a lot of just real basic demographic information job seeker name, address, contact information, and then you can choose the skill sets that you are looking to get more information on or that you think you might need. Once you submit this inquiry form, somebody from Maricopa County offices will reach out to you, do an initial interview with you, get some more information for you, and then walk you through the process of helping obtaining those skills. So this is a great first step for job seekers. So those job seekers that feel that they already have all the skills that they want, they just need a job. This is a great link, a great tool to get those jobs sent right to your cell phone. Most people these days have a cell phone. So by texting AZ at work to 22828, will get you enrolled in our weekly job blast. You will receive job blasts. I believe it's actually twice a week that you receive these blasts to your phone with updated information about jobs and recent hiring events, all right on your phone. So that's a great tool and resource for you. And obviously I can't click and talk at the same time. There we go. So our final screen, this is my contact information. Again, my name is Christopher Sternisha. I'm a business service representative, Maricopa County. That number there is my work cell phone, so please feel free to reach out and call that number. And of course, there's my email address. So thank you very much for having me, and have a great day.
Chris, thank you so much. We appreciate your presentation and all the great information that you shared, especially for job seekers and employers alike. We have one more presentation, so we appreciate those that can stay with us. Know a lot of people had a hard stop at the bottom, but it's recorded. So if you need to leave, we understand. So I'd like to welcome our final speaker, Jasmine Chamblin. Jasmine is a customer relations associate at PipelineAZ and works directly in platform onboarding. And she'll be providing an overview of the platform's enhanced features and how you can get started. So at the very beginning of this webinar, we talked about the job matching component, and this is the information that you need. So Jasmine, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here, and thanks to everybody tuning in today. So to reiterate, there will be a 3-week candidate matching portion post spotlight event. So you will register on the link that I just dropped in the chat, westmark.pipelineaz.com, to get started. And I can walk through some of these features right now to show you how you can get started and post jobs on the employer side, but also register as a job seeker. Okay. Awesome. So again, the platform brings together job seekers, educators, and employers to ensure that we are running parallel to our demand here in Arizona, as well as making sure our upskilling and reskilling aligns with our industry standards, right? So the platform works on a skills-based algorithm along with interests, right? You don't want to be in a job that you're not quite interested in, but we really allow job seekers to, no matter if you're in that exploratory phase or if you're looking for an expert level position, we give you that opportunity to explore across industries and jobs. Next slide, please. Awesome. So again, exploration and career pathways. If you're not sure where to start or what industry you may be interested in, you can go to our career exploration page and read up on industry news, as well as look at what jobs within those industries are prevalent, and as well as salary insights. Next slide, please. Yes, and so as a job seeker, you will be taking a skills and interest test to see what skill sets you already have and what roles you could match with right away. And then we can also provide you with those career pathways to get you to desired roles or roles that might take a certain certification. We really want to provide you with those stair steps to get you to where you really want to be. Next slide, please. And again, exploration by industry is really awesome. You can see what high demand industries are, at the cusp right now. You can also see industry news. So you can see what companies are expanding here. Really great opportunity to look at our Arizona ecosystem of employers. Next slide, please. And again, career pages, great way to see Arizona-specific insights on jobs, salary expectations, as well as those career pathways. So if you want to get to step B, what do you need to do in that in-between? Next slide, please. And again, career pathways. So what are those specific education, certification, and school opportunities for you to upskill, reskill, to again achieve your ideal career path? Next slide, please. And then your career matching profile. It is a great way to show off the work you've done, your skill sets. After taking your skills assessment, those skills will be associated with your profile, which is awesome. Employers can see that right away. You can also upload additional documents, pick a really nice professional profile picture. It could really be like another LinkedIn page for you to explore your new career pathways. Next slide, please. And so on the employer side of things, and you can go to the next slide, we actually have Forms and Services who's participating in the candidate matching portion of the event. Employers also have the opportunity to build a company page. So, you know, just as employers are vetting you, job seekers are vetting employers and have the opportunity to learn about culture, community involvement, your ideal candidate, as well as your hiring process. And you can also look at staff members, and it's a really cool opportunity to get to know more about the company and that company culture. Next slide, please. And this, we operate as a nonprofit, so you definitely get unlimited and free job postings. You can post company events on our platform on the employer side. It is at no cost to you. We are really here to help create and maintain those relevant career pathways associated with those up-to-date skill sets. Next slide, please. And that concludes today's presentation. Yeah, and my email, I dropped it in the chat. It's jchamblin@PipelineAZ.com. Happy to answer any questions or help you get onboarded onto the platform.
Jasmine, thank you so much. Appreciate your presentation and the ease to jump on that platform. We don't have any questions at this time, so I just want to say a special thank you to all of our speakers and guests. We really appreciate you joining today. Job seekers, you can plan to entertain the job matching component starting today with the link that Jasmine provided, and wishing you best of luck with that. And there's additional information on this slide for contacts. This is being recorded and will be available to you shortly. Thank you so much for joining.